This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Pie in the Sky Media.
3, 2, 1. Happy Halloween, Criminal Mischief Nation. Welcome back to another bonus episode of Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Brandon. I'm Brandon in the middle of a devastating allergy attack, so if you hear the whole time, it's just me trying not to snot myself. Joined by the great Carolyn Ossorio. Carolyn, how are you?
Fantastic.
How's your Halloween so far?
It's great. We just had homecoming weekend, and so my sons were both like tuxed out, or not tuxed, but I got my my ninth grader. This is his first suit so that I went with him and we did that whole thing. And it's so dang cute, And then so we were. It was cool. How about you? How was your week?
Oh, it was good. Normal. We had our pumpkin carving party over the weekend, so that one's always fun, and a real neighborhood of, oh my god, I have a sneeze, I'm so sorry. Oh, well, that passed. Big neighborhood event. It was a ton of people, a ton of kids running around, a lot of pumpkin carving, a lot of food, a lot of revelry. So that was last night. It was fun. Still recovering. The house is still a mess. The one thing I tell everybody: listen. Don't leave your pumpkins in place. Okay, carve your pumpkin, even if it's a shitty jack-o'-lantern. It's not my responsibility to throw it away for you. Still, people always leave their pumpkins. There's probably 40 carved pumpkins in my backyard that people just left. Now I have to, and I forget every year what a pain in the ass it is, because it takes like 3 weeks of me filling the green bin for the garbage to come get, for the yard waste. Yeah. So, but comes with the territory. It was we had a great time. Pie eating contest, bobbing for apples, just Americana through and through. It was great.
I love that. Time. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Great time. So I have a lot to say about the Amityville horror.
Okay.
I have a lot. Did you watch we're the same age? Did you watch the movie when you were a kid?
Yeah, but my launching point into this was actually, I don't know how I stumbled into it, but like there was a documentary on the director, and I was like, oh, I want to watch that. William Friedkin, who he talked about how he
directed
made
Amityville Horror, or Friedkin directed
I'm sorry, The Exorcist.
Yeah.
The Exorcist. Yeah. But that was the beginning of how I kind of got to Amityville Horror, because I was listening to him talk about the documentary of The Exorcist, and then it was just like, oh my gosh. And then I kind of roped my son into watching The Exorcist again after I'd watched the documentary. I'm like, let's watch The Exorcist. And my older son, who's seen it, was like, no way, I'm not doing it, because they can't deal with the drama. They want to get right to the.
I just rewatched The Exorcist for the first time in years, and
me too.
I was surprised. Like 2/3 of it is just a drama, right? And it was great. With the priest and his mom and all that, and the detective trying to figure stuff out.
Dimmy.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it, and then the parts where, Jesus Christ, there was a lot of shit. Wow. I mean,
you must be thinking about the cross. I mean, because that's what.
About any scene with Reagan when shit's getting real in that bedroom is fucking crazy. And she really hurt her back in that one scene. The mom, when she got thrown off and she landed like against the bench, and she messed her back up in real life. But it was great. And I loved that priest, because I forgot that whole monologue when the first time that she goes and sits with the priest and they're outside, and she's got her huge 70s sunglasses on, which I love. And she says,
I love those.
Because I need an exorcism. He goes, well, you'll need this and this. and a time machine back to the 16th century because we don't do that. What are you talking about? And like coming from a priest, it was really cool. Um,
Mhm.
yeah,
I
I
know,
really.
but here's what was great about the making of The Exorcist
Mm,
was that you got the backstory. So here's the priest, Jason. I can't remember what that the actor's name is Jason. I can't remember what his last name is,
yeah,
but they had already cast I think it was Stacy Keach or who
Stacy
was that
Keach,
one?
probably. Yeah,
Yeah, Stacy Keach. And and Jason, the actor who would end up playing Father whatever, he basically was like, "No, I have to play this role." He was in this play, and then William Friedkin, the director, was like, "Okay, you can come and do an audition, but we've already paid this guy.
yeah.
He's
It's a pay or
already been
play deal.
cast."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right. But you can try, and this is going to be more just a thing for your grandkids, right? And so he went and he literally was himself and completely they paid Stacy Keach and was like, sorry, we're going with this other guy.
Yeah.
And that's how the whole thing happened. So it was just like so fortuitous, all these little things. But I mean, it was just really interesting. And then her voice, that was another actress
Yeah.
who he because I forgot that voice when I put that in there. I was like so scared. Just that voice was so
It was
crazy.
great, man. It was great. I was pleasantly surprised to rewatch that. It really holds up. Really, really
Mm.
holds up. And Max von Sydow is just so good, and his characters are so straightforward. He's like, "We're ready to go. Let's do it." He goes, "Really? You don't want to know the backstory?" He goes, "Nope. We're starting." Wow, here we go. So I
Mm.
enjoyed it. But about the Amityville horror, uh,
Yeah.
it was on Long Island, pretty close to Jersey, where I grew up. And so that book, well, I was a infant when the book came out, probably, but um, I remember my mom reading it in paperback. My mom was a huge, huge reader,
Mhm.
and it fucking terrified her. My mom is not a believer. Okay, yeah, my mom's not a believer. She's a very pragmatic, you know, she's a mathematician. She doesn't believe in any of this stuff, but it's terrified her because the book it
Mm.
said based on a true story.
I
So
know. It doesn't say that anymore.
in the 70s, you could say that about anything.
No,
So
I know.
people thought, okay, it was like almost like a slow moving Orson Welles War of the Worlds, right? Where that happened
Mm.
all at once on the radio and people lost their minds. This happened in
Mhm.
a more slow rollout with the book. Um, People were freaked out. And
Yeah.
and like if my mom was reading like a Bond book, like Ian Fleming or something, like she'd leave it out and I'm a kid and I'd start reading it. If she
Hmm.
even saw me anywhere near Amityville Horror, she'd freak out and rip it out of my hands. But my brother got it, my older brother, and he told me about it, and it scared the shit out of me. And I remember really
Hmm.
specific moments in the book that he told me about as factual. You got to remember, if it
Hmm.
was in the
Hmm.
book, people reading the book, most
Hmm.
people are like, "This is real. This is what happened." And the
Hmm.
315 freaked me out. Every night he'd wake up at
Hmm.
315, freaked me out.
Hmm.
Did you read the book yet?
I started reading it and then I was like, this is so slow. And
Okay.
I was like, really? Because when you read Stephen King, it's like that's gonna really scare the shit out of you,
Yeah.
right? But when
Yeah.
I was reading it, I was like, okay, this kind of seems kind of a little bit
Well, it's all
pedestrian, but
this
I'm sure.
guy. It's all this guy saying things that happen. This Lutz guy, like up at 315 every morning. Uh,
Hmm.
they made a big to do about the construction and the weight of the front door of the house. That it was unusually large and heavy and solid wood and all that. And um,
Hmm.
that one night he heard some ruckus and he goes down and the door was off the hinges with these huge scratch marks in it and was outside, like something was getting out of the house. It wasn't
Yeah.
like breaking in. That terrified me.
Hmm.
And then the other thing I remember my brother telling me was that the guy claims that one night he woke up and there was like a marching band. It sounded like a marching band was playing in the living room, like full band, like tons of instruments. Didn't see anything, but that's what it sounded like. And that terrified him.
Hmm.
So ultimately they're like, we have to get out of here. Now in the movie, they said it was like a portal to hell in the basement and all that. And they didn't really go over that in the book to my knowledge, but yeah, people thinking that that shit's real and the book took on a life of its own.
And I think that that's the big thing was that they pitched it as it was real, a true story. And it's so interesting the power of the imagination because I remember like of course your brother was like trying to scare the shit
Oh,
out of you.
totally,
That
totally.
sounds,
Yeah.
but like there's a Guillermo del Toro, what was that one movie that's so good?
Pan's Labyrinth.
Um yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so my daughter, my firstborn daughter, she was like in the first grade.
Yeah.
And I had watched that and I freaking loved Pan's Labyrinth. I just loved it. I loved it so much. And she wanted to watch it. And I was like, no, you can't watch it. But I was like, started telling her about it. I go, okay, I'll tell it. I'll describe some of the things. And she was like a little recorder. So she went to her first grade class and they're having story time.
Oh,
So then
Jesus Christ.
she starts and she's like telling it and the hands with the eyes and
Oh,
like
man.
and I wasn't telling her like the scary version, but enough to like, I mean, it doesn't take a lot,
No, you didn't bring up the
And then
Nazi
the
violence
teacher,
or anything? Okay.
no. And then the teacher was like, did she really watch? I was like, and it was just really funny, but
His
like,
little
just
Susie was
the,
telling a Disney story, and then your
I know.
daughter comes up and there's eyeballs blinking in the palms of her hands.
And Sophie was so good at telling the story.
Wow.
I was actually kind of proud,
That's
it
really
was
funny.
kind of
That's
cool.
really
But
funny.
um yeah, but I think that what I didn't know as I went into it was the whole backstory about the murders and because it's in such the zeitgeist of everything. You just feel Amityville horror. It's this house and that these scary things happen to it, right? But
Yeah.
I didn't know about the DeFeos. I didn't know about the whole how it was this brilliant marketing strategy from the very beginning that his attorney was actually in on, the guy that was defending him.
Yeah.
So, did you know about that part of the story?
Yeah, because this is, well, what's her name? And the couple from The Conjuring, they got involved in this. This is one of their big cases. Lorraine Warren, Ed and Lorraine Warren. They,
And they were part of that news crew that came out to
yeah,
the
of
house to
course,
the demonologists. I
demon.
forget that you know all this stuff
Yeah,
because of your background.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I forget about that. Because
Well,
I don't know a lot about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So with the DeFeos, so I'm getting the movies confused because there was a sequel to the Amityville Horror, which I think
Yeah.
was the prequel, actually, where it goes over the DeFeo thing. And I shouldn't have seen that movie. I was too young to see the movie because it freaked me out.
What, Amityville Horror?
The second one,
Okay, I didn't see it.
the sequel, and
But
I may be wrong, and if I am, people correct me in the comments because I'm not going to have time to go watch these movies, but I'm pretty sure it was the second one
Mhm.
where they cover those murders, the DeFeo murders, where it's the oldest boy
Mhm.
who, and they took the story that he was possessed, and
Mhm.
there was a scene in it where the demon in control of him seduces his sister. And I went,
Well,
I shouldn't be watching this. I'm like
how,
11.
how old were you?
I
How
was
old were
like
you?
10 or 11.
What's crazy is my dad took me to a double feature to a movie, a drive-in. He
Yeah.
took me, my sister and I, The Howling,
Oh, Christ.
and I can't remember.
Porkies.
And I had to sleep with my mom for like a year.
I don't
I'm
blame you.
serious.
I
Like
get it.
I was just like, but it's funny how these movies they just stick
Yeah,
with you.
they do. They
It's
do.
like,
Which was the
but
one with Brolin in it?
that was the first
That was
one.
the first one. Okay, so that was the
Yeah, that
first
was
where
the
he
first one.
saves the dog and all that, and it's really cool. All right, yeah. So
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was the second one with the kid that kills everybody, and it was fucked up. It was really really fucked up, and uh, but it just
Well,
became
that's where these stories blur because there was, and I don't know if this was just the marketing aspect of it, if they wanted to make it as salacious as possible, but there were rumors or claims that Ronnie Jr. was having an incestuous relationship with Dawn.
oh
And And so,
That was reported
yeah,
on?
so,
Really?
well, and as much as this case has
Yeah, yeah,
been
yeah.
reported on, I mean,
Right.
it's all
Okay,
like, who
so
knows if it's true.
they ran with it in the movie then.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This whole thing, they've like run with it. It's almost like, let's take the decay of the society and let's put it all in this, throw it all in here. We're going to blame everybody
On the demon, but
paranormal,
yeah, but let's
paranormal.
also prop it up as factual is what they did also.
I know,
Right.
I
Which
know.
was which is kind of a dangerous use of media for that time, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, so the attorney for Ronnie Jr. is like, take this insanity plea,
Yep.
say that the house that you were possessed by the devil and
A
that the
lot of
house.
money in it.
Meanwhile, he's got this side deal going with this family that knows this. They're like, okay, we're gonna buy the house. And it's like, it is so, I mean, you just couldn't do that today,
So
you
forgive
know?
me, I'm going to check my phone because I want to look up on IMDb. Did he, and later on in the remake with Ryan Reynolds, so the Amityville Horror 79, James Brolin, was he playing the Lutz character? Yeah, he was
Yeah,
George
James
Lutz.
Brolin was the Lutz.
He was
Yeah.
George Lutz. And in '05, Ryan Reynolds was also George Lutz. Okay. So in the first one, then who was Paulie? Wasn't Paulie from Rocky in the first one?
Wait a second.
No, he was
I
in the
didn't,
sequel.
I think I only saw, snippets of
Amityville
the
2, The Possession. That's
okay.
the one I'm talking. Yeah, Burt Young, Paulie, uh, oh yeah, this was fun. Jeez. It's
I didn't see that.
it's not worth seeing. It's not worth seeing, but they're cashing in. It's like Jaws 2 sucked, you know. The first movie
Do you know that this franchise has made like $400 million over
from books
over
and
the last.
films and TVs. There's Amityville: The Awakening. There's Amityville Horror, Amityville Possession. Yeah, it's a brand. It's a franchise.
I know it's crazy how the whole thing started though,
Yep,
you know?
yep. It
And I think
started
that
with
like with The Exorcist was, and maybe it was because I was just on my mind, but it
yeah.
felt like The Exorcist opened the door because like you watch that and I'm like, I can't believe that they let this play back in
Well,
the
that was
day.
based on a
Like
true story, allegedly. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but
So there was a kid, I think in Ohio, somewhere in the Midwest, named. They gave him like a fake name because he was a kid, Roland Doe. Instead of John Doe, they gave him the first name Roland for whatever reason. So it's based
Mhm.
on like police reports and psychiatric accounts of the possession of a 12-year-old kid named Roland Doe. And the author of the book, maybe it was Detroit. Anyway, the author of the book was, I think, a reporter in the city where it was happening, and so had a lot of firsthand knowledge of it, and then changed everybody's names and made it a girl instead of a boy, and changed the city and did all that. But apparently, that's what happened. This kid, Roland Doe, this was his affliction, and it like caused the church to like dust off the ritual romanum and go like, oh yeah, these rites still do exist within the Catholic Church, and is there anybody who still does this shit, and then that happened, and then the ripple effect went all the way to the Vatican Council in 1992 with Pope John Paul II, where they kind of rewrote the exorcism guidelines, where before anything, and it was mentioned in The Exorcist, but it became canon after this Vatican Council in 92, that before a bishop or a priest or anyone can okay an exorcism, that you have to completely exhaust all medical possibilities. Like you have to go through CAT scans and CT scans and MRIs to see if there's tumors, to see if, it's mental disease, like all. And if all of that is a no, then okay, you can go for it. And usually what you read about is by the time all of those things are exhausted, the person's fine. and there isn't any need for it anymore. Very rarely is it like, oh wow, they're still fucked up and they know a bunch of shit that they shouldn't know, like unknowable knowledge. They're speaking in languages that they haven't learned or that no one's spoken in 1,000 years. And I guess there's instances where those things are true. I don't personally, I don't know. The truest or most valid, I guess, account, normal, like contemporary account I mean, was this kid, I think it was in Chicago. This kid was having episodes and people thought he was possessed. And so they take him to like a clinic or a hospital and they transfer him to a pediatric psychiatric ward. Okay. So he's surrounded. Now, this is the one thing that makes it legit for me. He's surrounded by career medical professionals. There's like three or four people in the room. There's a doctor, two nurses, and like I don't know, a physician's assistant in there. And they all separately swore with their jobs at stake to the same thing, that this kid walked up a wall and then, yeah, not like ran up and did like a gymnastics kind of like breakdancing move or 1 foot on and then no, like he like took several steps up a wall and then like came down and landed on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, these cases of possession that you read about, they're all second and third hand, or they're a couple hundred years old, or it was just the kid and the mom in the room, or whatever. This is the only one that I found where there are medical professionals that swore to this, like in an affidavit, that they watched this kid walk up a wall.
I know, but look at this thing with the Amityville horror with the attorney who was like, "Listen, we're gonna need you to claim insanity, okay? And
You could
then
sell a
I'm gonna
book.
make this little right." I know. So
He's a
it's like,
charlatan.
you
Yeah.
hmm?
He's a charlatan. It's like another great Guillermo del Toro movie, Nightmare Alley, that kind of pulls the curtain back on these 1920s spiritualists, who could talk to the dead, like what you think these
Hmm.
people are new, like the Hollywood psychic or crossing over with whoever douchebag that is. None of that's new, right? It's been a carnival trick for over 100 years. And
I know. I'm just saying, like, legit, supposedly legit people were involved in this thing and saw that they could make a lot of money, and it's like
he was
it
right.
just is kind of they were right.
To your point, $400 million.
I know, and that's what I mean. Like, it was a coordinated effort. They knew that as soon as they went out for 28 days, they started having a press conference. They then invited, people to the house, and then the people just got all like, into it. And I think too, it's that suggestion. Like if you're in a house where you know that people have been murdered and horrifically murdered, six people, four
Yeah.
children, right? And just being there is going to be creepy. And then you have somebody starting to act weird and it's in the middle of the night. And it's like, human beings kind of like latch onto stuff, so it's just was like fed into itself. I find that whole thing fascinating. Not the possession, not that, but just what we do and how we want to, like your mom, a woman of science, somebody who
Yes.
doesn't, who would normally like turn her nose up to something like that. And
Yeah.
yet she's like licking her fingers, like page
Yeah.
turning, all that.
Because
And then the lore of it of like, oh, I don't even want my son to read this.
to
So of
read
course,
it
then
because
you want to read it.
it's terrifying. But think of, it was like something like 1 million people thought that War of the Worlds was real, that we were being invaded by Martians.
I
People lost
know,
their
I know.
fucking minds.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
we're
it's
we're
it's
it's we're susceptible
we're
to
we're
suggestion.
highly suggestible.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that that's really interesting and I'm surprised that they haven't done more or maybe they haven't, I just haven't tapped into it about the psychology behind the whole thing of like how it all unfolded because it's pretty incredible. I mean,
Yeah, well,
anyway,
I'll tell you, not to make it about me, but with my show that got the TV treatment, we were told by the execs that when they heard the pitch, like we knew we were doing it right away because Satan sells, because people are scared. People are fucking scared, and they think like why women listen to true crime. Maybe they'll pick up some tips so it won't happen to them. Believers listen to stories about demonic possession. So they're like, okay, I know what to look for. So I know when to call my priest, and after, because I did the second season of Devil Within was about a possession in the UK in 74, 75, right after The Exorcism came out. And that caused
Yes.
such a huge spike in reports of demonic possession. Huge
Yes,
spike.
that's
Everyone
what
thought it
I'm
was real.
saying. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I didn't know that, but it's funny. I went to the dentist today and the hygienist, I was sitting down and she's like, "Oh, you do a true crime podcast, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, I just love true crime. We did the whole thing as, it
Yep.
happens." And then she's like, "But I'm taking a break from it. I'm going to horror because I love."
I need a break from the real shit. I always get
I
scared in a
know.
fake way. Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
I think that it's like there's something about, especially when there's all this strife in our lives and politics, and we don't know what to hold on to. And so going to this escapism, I mean, there's just something to it because we always do that,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
So anyway,
Well, great episode. Great episode. And if anyone out there left who hasn't seen The Exorcist yet, you got to see it. It's an
you got
absolute
to see it.
masterpiece of modern cinema.
Definitely.
It redefined the horror genre.
It
And
did.
Amityville less so. It's like, Amityville is more saccharine, than
Hmm.
The Exorcist, just because he didn't have William Friedkin. You're in the hands of a master when you're watching The Exorcist.
Mhm.
Friedkin from, gosh, French Connection and I mean, this he
And
was.
the documentary, I mean, I can't recommend it enough because he really talks about the process and what he did and how he made decisions and how he just felt like the whole time it was just like he's not going to say like a higher power, but like there was just so many things that just gelled and happened and
Yeah,
it was really interesting.
yeah, and you don't realize how many pioneering um like methods were created in that, with just with the lighting, when with Max von Sydow's character when he shows up. That's an iconic bit of
I know,
cinematography.
and I know when he explained that, and
Oh,
like
really?
when he goes right to the door, and then the girl's window is just like coming out, and he knew that he wanted that image.
Yep.
And what's so cool is actually now that I'm thinking about it, I was actually thinking about you when I watched it for a second because he talked about how he was so influenced by all the different art that he loved and
Yeah.
the history of things that he loved.
Did
And I
he
know
mention
that you're really
Caravaggio at all? Did he say
I
Caravaggio with?
think so. Yes, I think
Yeah.
so. But the whole thing, like you would love it. It was so, but how all of that influenced the music that he chose. Anyway, it was
Ah,
incredible. Like you
William Peter
said.
Blatty. William Peter Blatty's the author, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
William Peter Blatty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that'll do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I was trying
Awesome.
to remember. Wow. Fantastic. Okay. Well, so again, happy Halloween, everybody. Check out The Exorcist and Amityville Horror. And over on a sister show on the network, Taboo Treasures, this week, they're doing a deep dive into the classic film Halloween, which also
Mm.
has, it's up there in the pantheon of genre defining horror films. So just really dig into Halloween this year and just scare the shit out of yourself. But then, you know, walk around on a sugar high because you ate all your kids' candy. Why not? Fuck it. Let go. Go for it.
Hmm.
Just go
Oh
for it.
my gosh, Jamie Lee Curtis. I just love her.
Yeah.
And when you look at that and I watched a show about how that the making of that too, and
Yep.
like a while ago, but just be creative, folks. Like
Absolutely.
it's not like there's ever like a book on how to do things. That's what's so great. I mean, there
Yeah.
is, but like a lot of these classics, a lot of these really great movies, like they're just an amalgamation of someone's
Yeah.
creativity and just going for it. So
Orson Welles, speaking of
anyway.
Orson Welles again in Citizen Kane, all those hero shots down low, looking up at Kane. Oh
Hmm.
man, great shots. They didn't exist
Hmm.
before in movies. And so they had
Hmm.
to completely redo how a soundstage is constructed. It was the first time that you needed ceilings on the rooms in a soundstage because the camera was so low that you were going to see
Hmm.
above the wall line. And then
Hmm.
the cameras were so big that they had to break through the floor and raise the floor where the actors were to get the camera low enough to get the angles that he wanted. Like that hadn't happened before.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great. So you're right. Take some chances. There's no old wise man telling you there's only one way to do shit, you know? So just.
In fact, there's not.
Yeah.
So do it.
Just do it. Great. Well, listen, happy Halloween. If you like the show, please share it with friends and family. Be safe out there during the season. Keep an eye on your kids because there's a lot of fucking lunatics out there. But make sure you're following the show wherever you get your podcasts. Rate and review. Every little bit helps other people discover the show. So, and that's our goal. And consider patronizing our sponsors if you can, because we couldn't keep doing the show without them, especially Quince. Quince has been really good to us. Go to quince.com/mischief and check out what they have. I was just on their website.
I've got a Quince on right now, so I'm a big fan.
You know they sell Christmas trees on their site. Yeah.
Well, you're talking to I know I'm going to be reamed, but I love I'm a sucker for a real.
Oh, I like a real
tree.
Christmas tree too, but it's when you see the things that Quince has, I normally wouldn't say like, oh, my awesome cashmere sweater. You could also buy, you could also ship it with a Christmas tree, Well,
you know what? And they have everything. It's not just clothes.
They have bedding. They have luggage. I got my wife a suitcase.
They're bedding and curtains. Like
yes, I saw. They just released a lighting collection. Crazy.
I know.
Oh yeah, they're a great company.
Check it out.
Great company. All right. Anyway, wow, they didn't even pay us for that. You know what? That little commercial there, that's how much we actually enjoy the brand. I know, it's funny.
I know.
All right, cool, everybody. Well, listen, happy Halloween, and until next time, stay safe. We'll see you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
From Pie in the Sky Media, Criminal Mischief is an Evio production, recorded live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're produced by Brandon Morgan and myself, music by Soundstripe. For Evio Creative, I'm Carolyn Ossorio, your writer and host.